Oh, okay. Finally here. Week 2 battle reviews. Sorry, I've been all over the place today. I had to re-record this because I accidentally leaked my team versus Litfam, or at least my first draft of it, and then I could not find a single place to record on this godforsaken campus. Because no one wants to leave today because the temperature is so bad that Trump held his inauguration inside. Anyways, I'm finally here. I'll be going in order played, so Sableye versus Logan first, except I will be doing me versus Modem last, so I can kind of explain myself. Yeah, but without further ado, let's get into it. First thing to note with Sableye versus Logan, Logan got completely outpranked. If you look at his team, you'll notice his only ground type is Sandy Shocks, which is not a defensive ground. This means Zeraora farms this team. Even if Shocks gets brought, if it Terras, there's no electric switch in. And if it doesn't, even then, Zeraora still does a lot if it clicks a coverage move. Sableye's going to end up bringing Choice Specs Volt Switch, which is a very good into a team with no electric resist. I was talking to him about this versus Nilly, actually. I mentioned it offhandedly, because I forgot Nilly had a Claydol, which wouldn't matter. But back in Gen 8, when I was drafting Zeraora, I used to spam... Oh, I didn't spam it, but every time I saw a Sand team, I'd bring Choice Specs, Volt Switch, Grass Knot, and then no matter what, always click Grass Knot on the first turn, because everyone goes to the Hippowdon first, thinking it's a great resist. So Sableye brought it versus Logan, and if you think about it, really, there's not much of a difference between a Choice Specs Volt Switch Zeraora and a Choice Band Plasma Fist CC Zeraora, because the CC hits the Arcalon. It's the only thing he's worried about, but Special is still better. If the Arcalon is not Assault Vest, it's going to take a lot from Volt Switch, and it gives you free pivot into Landorus, which means you can keep up momentum. So again, Sableye is just going to lead off with the Volt Switch monster. He has no reason not to. Like, literally, this does 80%, and then he goes straight to Volcarona. Logan has leftovers. His two plays are this: switch out or click Thunderwave. It's either predict Sableye to click Quiver Dance, or predict Sableye to click Fiery Dance, knowing that this fortress probably has Thunderwave, and want to kill it right away. Additionally, he could go for like a really risky Stealth Rock or Spikes, but there's not a lot of point to that, because if this clicks Quiver and you put up Stealth Rocks, it's not great. Palafin can normally deal with this, but if it's something like Focus Sash or Water Resist Berry, Palafin's going to have a lot harder of a time, so it's better just to get something off like a Thunderwave to stop the Volcarona, or click T-Wave. Additionally, this could have something like Explode, so Sableye also has to be a little bit careful about that. But overall, the obvious plays are really just Thunderwave or Switch Out. Logan's going to make the switch to Palafin, which is a great play. Normally, Palafin would be a hard counter to this. Jet Punch always kills it, yada yada, whatever. Thinking that the Fire Dance is probably more likely than Quiver, but even if Sableye Quiver Dances, this still deals... Jet Punch still OHKOs, so it should be okay. Again, unless he's Water Resist or Sash. Sableye is going to cover both of those options with a switch to Zeraora. This eats the Thunderwave and covers the Palafin coming in. This is a really good play. It covers all options. It's great. Again, he's just going to click Volt Switch a second time, but this time he's going to rip the Terra Water. Water gives him resist to basically Logan's entire team. Yeah, like, and now you also hardwall Arcalon. As long as it doesn't click a Dragon move, you resist Flash Cannon, you eat the Electro Shot. This is just really good. Sableye is building up a massive lead already. He has one Mon for basically free. He got his defensive Terra off, which is really good. And now he goes Volcarona knowing this Palafin's coming in. He reveals Will-O-Wisp. This same turn, Logan's going to click Bulk Up. Clearly, the play for Sableye, this is a more defensive Volcarona, similar to what he brought versus Nilly, which was Flame Body, Rocky Helmet, so we could deal with Double Iron Bash. However, the Will-O-Wisp misses, and Logan gets a free Bulk Up off. Again, like I said, this could still be Sash or Waterberry. Logan, in his mind, is just like, okay, well, that was scary. I almost got burned. That basically means I lose the game. I need to Jet Punch right now, especially because I'm slower, to kill this. However, like I said, It's Paso Berry. Gets the second Willow off, and that's basically game. I'm not gonna lie, that's basically game. This Archaludon and these Articuno are really the only things that can get this team back into it, and at this point, this Archaludon is not going to be able to get through all of this, when, especially with a full health Tinkaton in the back. Same with Articuno. Articuno is going to struggle so hard, especially since it's Terra Grass. It loses completely to Muck's Dual Step. So the game is really over already, unless he has some way to get this Willow away, but that's if he's running exclusively the extremely rare Rest Palafin, which, spoiler alert, he's not. So this Zeraora is going to kill him with T-Bolt. The play here should be go Articuno, click Terra Grass, and start trying to fuck things up, because it's your only resist. Or go Archaludon and start clicking buttons. Instead, Logan puts up Rain, and then sacks all of his Overquill HP, which again, we're not getting anything out of this. Sableye is going to switch this turn, because this is a very obvious Swift Swim. We did not see Intimidate, running Poison Point is suicidal, and literally what else would Logan do to play this way? It has to be Swift Swim. So he's going to make the switch to Tinkaton. Logan's not going to click Liquidation in front of a Terra Water guy that's currently sweeping his entire team, and then this resistance Dual Stab. So Tinkaton is just kind of a free switch here. Logan's going to make the double to Archaludon, likely knowing that Sableye is probably going to make a switch and probably trying to cover for it, which is good. However, he gets Thunder Wave right quick, which is not bad for Archaludon because it doesn't really need to be fast until he gets full parried the next turn. Otherwise, this Tinkaton would have died, which would have been helpful for the rest of the game, but again, it's kind of lost at this point. There's a lot you have to do to bring this game back, even if you get every play correct, which Logan doesn't. Sableye uses U-turn. He wants to break Balloon, but also he gets Pivot if he switches, right? Pretty obvious, right? Logan's going to switch because why would he stay in an Electro Shot into a guy? Like, there's no reason to not. But because of the U-turn, Zeraora comes back in. Now we got to pick another sack. This time he chooses to sack the Air Balloon on Archaludon. That Volt Switch does a ridiculous amount of damage. And then out comes Landorus. And then he doubles back to Tinkaton, expecting a switch to, I'm assuming, expecting a switch to Articuno. He doesn't want, so at this point Sableye is still a little bit worried about a set of Sweeper Articuno, which is entirely possible. That could still win, maybe. Knowing Logan's set now, it's over, but Sableye still has to be a little bit careful about it. With the right luck, there's still a chance it could win, depending on what the set is. There's a lot of gray area there, so it's hard to say, at least in Sableye's mind. This is Mold Breaker, by the way, just to point out. It's Mold Breaker, which means all status moves would have gone through Mega Sableye's Magic Bounce, which is just something crazy to know. But either way, he gets the Articuno play correct. He has to switch out so he doesn't get Thunder Waved. Gets Thunder Waved on this instead. Switches to Archaludon. Sableye chooses to stand, likely not valuing this Mon as much, knowing that Muck could still kind of beat this Articuno. He puts up Rocks, which just effectively kills the Overquill. He has no removal anymore. Zeraora is going to come in. It's just a free switch. It eats the Electro Shot. Logan clicked Electro Shot last time. And then he chooses to do Specs Aura Sphere. Logan did not know this got Aura Sphere. He didn't, or he might have, but he didn't know this Mon ran special at all, because it's a very uncommon set. It's literally only used in Draft League, as far as I'm aware. Articuno comes out, obviously 4 times resist, you know it's Specs. Chooses Terra Grass, but he's gonna have to switch to this. He goes Muck to eat the Future Sight, as the Politoed clicks Paris Song. I mean, there's really just not much you can do here. He switches out again. He doesn't want to get Whirlpool trapped. This clicks Rest, though, so it can get rid of the Thunder Wave, mainly. But at this point, it's just so Raps. He's going to force the T-Wave. Sableye's going to predict him to put Rain up and then switch to Articuno. I'll let that play out. But yeah, he puts Rain up. and then switches to Articuno. Sableye predicts this, clicks T-Wave on a Sleeping Mon, which is just like, at this point, Sableye's making these plays just to seal his fate. Logan forfeits. Nilly's right, you are not supposed to forfeit in this game. I would highly recommend in the future you don't do that. It makes my life a lot harder in terms of taking accurate kill data. I give both kills to Muck. Muck might have gotten both kills anyways, but please just don't forfeit in the future. I understand that this game was rough, but yeah. What went wrong? Logan would not sack his air balloon. This was the only thing that could possibly take a Zeraora hit. And while losing the fortress was bad, he still had ways to keep the Zeraora at bay. But instead, he chose to keep forcing in the Politoed, which just every time Politoed comes in, Zeraora can come in. It's not worried about anything, and then it's a free Volt Switch. I think he needed to make the call to let the air balloon go earlier, and just try to start getting kills with our Caledon, and start trying to get a sack lead, because it was just not gonna happen. As much as that air balloon was good for the Landorus, again, it's just so difficult when someone brings a set that's as good into your team as that is, and doesn't, and you don't have any prep for it. Again, I think this game was more one-off prep. Logan had some outs, but as soon as the Palafin got burned, it was just kind of really over. I'm going to zoom in my browser, because I realized I didn't do that earlier, so it should give you guys a better view of things. How in can I make this and still make it, like, viewable? This looks good. That's too much. Yeah, this is good. And you'll still be able to see the chat if you're confused about turns. But yeah, that's Sableye versus Logan. Again, this game was kind of won in prep by Sableye. Logan was just not expecting Specs Zeraora. Even though this thing has it's over 100, I'm pretty sure, its special attack stat. It's just a super uncommon set. What could have been done differently? Assault Vest or Caledon, I guess, but all it takes is Sableye to click Aura Sphere once, and it's kind of over. You just kind of get packed up by it. Yeah. Super well played from Sableye, because even though he won off prep, he played this game extremely well, making good switches, making really good predictions, even when he didn't have to. Yeah, overall, just really well played from Sableye. Logan just was on the back foot the entire time. There was not a ton he could do about that. Next, we got Eldritch versus Icarus. I helped Icarus a lot. I gave him a flowchart to follow, and I built most of the team. The big thing here is there is nothing Eldritch can really do about lead Tapu Lele. There is one out he has. This is bulky Tapu Lele, max HP, max special attack, modest choice specs. The plan is lead Tapu Lele, click Psychic into everything unless Great Tusk is Terra Dark, which we'll find out it is. Then you click Moonblast instead. Goldengo is going to come in. You go to Ursaluna, you click Blood Moon, something dies. Plain and simple. The gimmick here is that Lele, look at its speed tier. It's 317. So what are we outspeeding? We're outspeeding Great Tusk, Raging Bolt, Goldengo, Armarouge, and we're not outspeeding these two. Okay. How important is that, outspeeding these two? That's pretty important, right? So spec speed is good. Speeding Armarouge is pretty good. You don't really care to outspeed Goldengo, because if we're being honest, when are you staying in on Goldengo anyways? Sure, being faster than it for a guaranteed 2-ko on the Moonblast is good, but at the end of the day, you're just begging for a Mon like Ogerpon to come in and kill you right after. Like, you're getting revenged really easily. And if you run Scarf, you're not doing enough damage. Just plain and simple. So I decided instead, there's also a mind game of, it could be Scarf Tusk. Both of these could have more defensive Terras. I decided that it might just be better to do max HP Tapu Lele, because Great Tusk and Raging Bolt both have good offenses. Not great. Neither of these two are OHKOing Tapu Lele, especially with the coverage they get. So, unless Great Tusk is running Steel Roller, which I don't even know if it gets, you can just lead Tapu Lele and click Specs Moonblast without a care in the world, because you're going to live either of these two no matter what, and you're going to get a head off. And there's also a mind game because Eldritch doesn't know that you're no speed. He's going to have to respect max speed Lele this entire battle. Yeah. The only out Eldritch has is lead Goldengo, click Make It Rain, which does about 30% to even the AV Arceluna that I made. Go Screamtail on the Blood Moon, Encore it into Blood Moon, and then Protect every other turn. Until Icarus switches. But even then, you're losing a lot of HP, and Icarus gets an offensive switch, relatively, because you're going to be stuck in Protects on the Blood Moons. That's Eldritch's only out, but that's if he reads this entire sequence, which, spoiler alert, he doesn't. Again, Terra Dark Great Tusk. So it's click Moonblast, because you can't click Psychic, because if it Terra Darks, it's over. So Moonblast does about 58 to this Screamtail. It's going to click Protect for a little bit of leftovers. I went on a whole rant about Protect in the last video. Eldritch has is it 2 mods with Protect? No, I believe it's just the Screamtail. This Protect should tell you that this is Wish Pass. It's Wish Protect. Yeah, Icarus is just going to Moonblast again. It does about 50% to this Goldengo. That was the other thing. If this Goldengo even has a little bit of bulk, it's not getting 2-coat by Moonblast. So being faster than it doesn't really accomplish much unless you're trying to setup sweep, but this doesn't really setup sweep. It's just a breaker. So why be faster? When this is just a free Ursaluna switch. I mean, it's not free. This does a lot. It does about 39, which is ridiculous because this isn't even a blasting item, but why do you care when now you rip Moonblast, or you rip Blood Moon and something dies? And you might think, well, why do you click the normal type in front of the Goldengo? Remember, Mind's Eye means normal hits Ghost, so he doesn't care. This is obviously Ogerpon for Eldritch. Icarus is going to go Cyclizar. Dragon means he resists the dual stab. Very easy switch. I told Icarus, pretty much no matter what, you click U-turn with this. You click U-turn or Knockoff. I don't know why you would ever want to click Knockoff in front of the Ogerpon when there's no item to be removed. So he's always going to click U-turn. That does a good chunk, a good 41%. But, you know, the problem now is Cyclizar was a switch. We just swapped it out. So Icarus goes to the other one that resists his dual stab, which is Superior. Yeah, and this is just free Leaf Storm. Eldritch can't stay in. He doesn't want to take that chip, because Leaf Storm might just kill, judging from the return damage. Maybe not. I don't know. It depends. Raging Bolt is not a switch because it gets Dragon coverage, and you don't really do much back. Goldengo's obviously not a switch. You're just taking too much damage, and I don't think I need to tell you why you can't switch Great Tusk into a Leaf Storm. So Armor Rouge is a pretty obvious switch here, but it's the correct one. Click Sub. Again, the correct play. You know Eldritch is most likely going to switch when his dual stab is resisted. He's fearing a Leaf Storm because you're faster. And putting yourself behind a sub, yeah, I don't think I need to tell you why that's a good thing. Easy Leaf Storm, good 27%. And Eldritch reveals Armor Cannon. There's a case to be made here, if you're Icarus, to staying in and either attacking or the better play, clicking sub. Because if you click sub, he'll Armor Cannon again, most likely, and drop his defenses, meaning you can potentially kill with your other best coverage move, Dragon Pulse. There is a case to be made there, but it's better, really, to keep, in my opinion, keep your superior HP. Why? The reason is because you're still out of range of a second Ivy Cudgel. You see it did 37, and you're faster. Cyclizar took a lot, so having that backup to Ogerpon, which is really the biggest threat to your team at this point, because Lele can beat both of these 1v1, the biggest threat to your team is this Ogerpon, which is really the best answer to Lele at this point, outside of, well, Goldengo is obviously the better answer, but Ogerpon and Goldengo are the biggest answers. So you need to make, they're the biggest threats to Icarus' team, so you need to make sure you have answers to them. Goldengo, at this point, you still have the Blood Moon. I mean, it takes a lot, but it's fine. You just need to make sure that Goldengo doesn't come in. That's really the biggest threat to the team at this point. The Ogerpon is the biggest threat for sweeping the team. This Goldengo is never going to sweep the team. with Typhlosion in the back being faster, right, yeah, with Typhlosion in the back being faster, this Goldengo's never going to sweep the team. Ogerpon can sweep the team. You're more just scared that he clicks Make It Rain at all, because it hits the entire team. So what you need to do is make sure you don't get swept by Ogerpon. What's one way to do that? Make sure that the Serp can still answer it. So clicking sub again, while there's a case for it, because it would immediately help you versus the Armor Rouge, and potentially this could snowball, it's probably not going to sweep, especially because the Goldengo resists everything. And you have a better play. The better play is go to Flash Fire Typhlosion. Eldritch knows that there's a case for Icarus to stay in here, so he has to click Armor Cannon a second time to kill this. He doesn't kill any other way. Because if he makes a more defensive play, and this Serp stays in and Dragon Pulses on his minus defense, trying to go for a kill, he can lose. And losing this Armor Rouge is really bad. He's already behind a whole Scream Tail. So he has to click Armor Cannon again. Icarus recognizes at least some of that, and makes the play to Typhlosion. This is where Icarus makes probably his only misplay, which is clicking Shadow Ball. This is just Eruption. This is an Eruption Typhlosion. Just click Eruption. But he does get this F drop, which is really important. He makes the switch to Ursaluna Blood Moon. This is fine. At this point, Ursaluna is the most expendable mon on the team. It was really here to get a Blood Moon off on Goldengo, but Goldengo is going to 2-ko this now. The only thing that you really have is Vacuum Wave. With Mind's Eye, you can Vacuum Wave the Goldengo. How much does that matter? I don't really think it matters that much. I think with the Typhlosion, you have such a guaranteed answer to Goldengo that you're not really worried about that. So, yeah, going Blood Moon is the best play here, especially because a lot of the time this is going to click an electric move. Instead of click Sub, which is an interesting move, you have two plays if you're Icarus here. You stay in and Earth Power and break the Sub, or you stay in Hyper Voice to hit the Sub from behind, or Blood Moon. It's either break Sub or Hyper Voice. Icarus chooses to Hyper Voice. I think both plays are good. I think the Earth Power gets rid of the immediate threat of this thing clicking Sub, but taking this thing's HP is actually probably just the better play overall, because even after you break Sub, you're fine. And you could always just go Lele, and there's not really much he can do. He decides to Thunderclap in Psychic Terrain. Obviously, no priority in Psychic Terrain. Bad option. Eldritch needed damage on this bad because it's max HP, so nothing OHKOs it, really, besides Goldengo. So not getting literally any damage on it is terrible. This is where Icarus probably makes the most underappreciated play, is he clicks Shadow Ball here. Why is Shadow Ball a good play? Well, let's think about it. What does Icarus not want to have, right? What does he care about? What does he not care about? At this point, Shadow Ball's killing the Raging Bolt from this range, thanks to his Hyper Voice damage, which was really good. Shadow Ball obviously kills Armor Rouge, but you're not super worried about that. And Shadow Ball is gonna, I mean, with Specs, there's a chance it kills Ogerpon. I would say maybe not, but there's a chance it does. And the Great Tusk is gonna take a lot. But you would think, well, why not just click Moonblast? You know, listen, you're still gonna hurt the Armor Rouge, and Goldengo might come in, but the thing with Shadow Ball is it lets the Goldengo not come in. You don't care if the Great Tusk comes in. Dusclops was built to take on Great Tusk, at least a little bit. And that's all it does. It's just a sack. So why care about... You a lot more care about Goldengo coming in, because that Make It Rain is a lot more scary than Great Tusk is, which I know is crazy to say, but you're really not at all scared of this Great Tusk. So clicking Shadow Ball here to stop the Goldengo from coming in again is really good. This Shadow Ball still does a huge chunk to this Great Tusk. Does about 63, which is insane. And if you're Icarus, there's a case here to just stay in. Because again, this is bulky Lele. You're going to take a hit, and Shadow Ball likely kills. It looks like it might be a roll. But again, this Dusclops was made for this Great Tusk. So Icarus makes the correct play, in my opinion, and just goes to the Dusclops. You might as well at this point, Icarus has a massive lead. It might still be 5-5, but if we're looking at it here, the only thing that has really taken a big hit is Superior, which doesn't really I mean, it cares a little bit, but it doesn't care a ton about its HP. A lot less than the other mods. The thing that, and yeah, the Cyclozar has taken a hit, but because of Regenerator, it hasn't really, if we're being honest. Meanwhile, Eldritch's entire team is chipped. This Ogerpon is near half, this Armourouge is down, this Goldengo is down, this Raging Bolt's about to die, and this Great Tusk has just been chipped big. Icarus is in a huge advantage here. You might as well just make the safe plays, because yes, you could take the roll, but you take a Lele hit, and now you might have to, now you could potentially lose the Raging Bolt in the right scenario, I don't know. You won't take an Ogerpon hit anymore, which is a little important. You kind of, this Ogerpon is, at this point, the biggest threat to sweeping the team, so having a Mon that can still take it on, again, I mentioned this earlier with conserving the Surf HP, conserving Lele at max health is really good. So yeah, just go Dusclops. Eldritch puts rocks up. I don't know if he's Pterodark knockoff or what, but I think it's between that and the rocks. Rocks are good because it stops Typhlosion, which is probably what Eldritch is most worried about, especially at this point, after his Raging Bolt has been chipped this much. Eruption Typhlosion is a huge threat, and Eldritch is likely putting Icarus on Scarf Eruption. It's not specs, he should know that from the Shadow Ball damage, but Scarf Eruption is a big threat to this team. So putting rocks up to chip that down is really is a good play. He switches on the Dusclops, and Icarus makes the move back to Tapu Lele. I don't think this was a great play. He got it right, don't get me wrong, but I think just staying in and clicking something like Shadow Ball was maybe better. Because I think we made this special so it could hit Great Tusk. Or even Willow. Like, at this point, you don't need the Dusclops. Switching to Lele worked out, so fine on Icarus, but when this is Pterodark, it means it might be, it's gonna want to boost knockoff. So there's a good chance he has knockoff. But considering, I don't know, considering you can click it here into Icarus's team, which is like so knockoffable, I mean, there's a chance that he just read it. But there is the other thing too. The other thing, this Dusclops probably lives Pterodark knockoff. Eldritch knows that, Icarus knows that. Icarus knows he's just going to click Willow and neuter the Great Tusk, which would hurt Eldritch so bad here. It'd make an already losing game almost lost. So, making the double to Lele, knowing that Eldritch is likely to respect that and go to another Pokemon, is still good. Sometimes the most obvious play is the right one, and I think that might have been it there, but Icarus still gets it correct. So, who am I to say that? Clicks Moonblast, might as well. I feel Shadow Ball is okay here, but with the Pterodark Great Tusk, it's really not taking much anymore. Though to be fair, it's 60 unresisted, meaning it's probably going to 2-hit KO on the right roll. And with Spadef Drop, I think that's something worth taking. So I think Shadow Ball might have been the better play there, because it also would have OHKO'd this, but either way, you don't care to take this hit. It doesn't do enough. And now that you're revealed to be faster, you can just kill it. Oh, here's the other thing. Icarus is likely expecting this to be faster, if we're being totally honest, because this is no speed. So after the Armor Cannon, with the defenses drop, Moonblast probably kills with the defense drop. I would think so. From the health he was at before. So Icarus was likely just thinking, well, I mean, I'm just going to click Moonblast, because if he attacks me, the defense drops, so Moonblast should kill. But he turns out to be slower. I mean, it's the same outcome. He only takes one Armor Cannon and gets the kill, so who cares? But, at this point, yeah, this is the big threat, this Ogerpon. Thankfully, the Cyclozar Regenerator means you're in okay shape. You have to U-turn here. You can't Rapid Spin in case he goes Goldengo. So he U-turns, goes to his other resist that we had in the back previously, which was the Superior. The other switch into this, we take Rocks, not great, and then take a crit from the Ivy Cudgel. That didn't matter to kill. But if you're Icarus, it sucks, but it's not bad. Because now you just go straight back to Cyclozar and U-turn again. And whatever the U-turn switch in is, anything but Goldengo, you can go straight back to Lele. And if it's Goldengo, you go to Typhlosion and click Eruption, which is exactly what Icarus does. And he can do this for free, because this Goldengo has revealed leftovers. It's not Scarf, so he doesn't care. Raging Bolt comes out, which is really the only thing that can answer this. And then there's a couple plays here. One, Eldritch is likely thinking, I'd probably only take an Eruption right now. I don't know, this Typhlosion is pretty powerful. So you have to Thunderclap to weaken it, or you can try to read the switch with T-Bolt, because if he doesn't get it right, then it kind of sucks. But if you're Icarus, you're Terra Grass Typhlosion. You can Terra Grass, live the Thunderclap, probably kill. That's exactly what he does. It's the safest play. And at this point, I think it's correct. I don't think Eldritch stays in and clicks Dragon Pulse. I'm not even sure he lives. But either way, Eldritch makes an aggressive double to Ogerpon, likely expecting Icarus to switch to respect the Thunderclap, but I think he might have just forgotten that this was Terra Grass after everything that happened, which is exactly why Icarus just stays in and gets the kill on Ogerpon, and at this point, that means the game is wraps. I mean, maybe the Raging Bolt can get some Calm Mind bullshit going, but with Psychic Terrain, there's not really a lot that he can do. It's a free kill on the Great Tusk. Icarus makes a small, but whatever, misplay here and clicks Eruption instead of Flamethrower, because he can lower his damage with the Thunderclap. He gets a crit anyways, though, so it doesn't really matter. And then he shows the power of Solar Beam, because it's grass boosted, and you might as well, because it's 100% accurate. Yeah, really well played from Icarus. Very little misplays, like maybe just like one, really. And this one in the endgame that literally didn't matter at all. Like, there's no like if you click Eruption and he doesn't lower your health, you might just kill anyways, and Dragon Pulse probably won't kill you. Actually, it might. But even if he does, you just go Lele right after and kill him, so you don't care. Yeah, but yeah, I built this Terra Grass Solar Beam was meant for Eldritch's Dondozo, because I figured it was the best switch into Typhlosion. But he didn't bring it, so it didn't really matter. Anyways, really well played from Icarus. Eldritch just had to play off the back foot the whole time, similar to Logan. It's just kind of rough. He had some chances to get in, but after that lead turns, it was really hard to claw his way back in, especially with Icarus's offensive pressure. Typical versus Excelsior, not a lot to say here. Excelsior forgot Metacham got Trailblaze. That's the biggest thing here. And we'll see that right away. Lead Garganackle, lead Clodsire, goes to Rotom Heat. I genuinely don't know why. I don't know why you go Rotom Heat. This is the worst switch into Garganackle ever. But it does still force it out because he can have Overheat. Excelsior chooses to trick it and gain leftovers. First of all, typical. Why are you a poison type and you're not Black Sludge? Second of all, because this isn't Terra either. Second of all, he's just going to switch. I think it's better just to get your overheat damage because he can't go Prim. So he's either got to go Roaring Moon aggressively or go Nidoqueen, and damage on either is really good. So I don't think Trick is the best play there. But he goes Tyranitar, expecting him to not click Earth Power because he's a Levitate Mon. He choices himself into Stealth Rocks, thinking that's a lot more important. Typical's pretty correct there. After the Rotom Heat reveals no boots, he's going to take a lot from Rocks. So he gets Pursuit damage. I mean, there's an argument between that and just clicking Raw Knock on the expected Garganackle. Both are good. It's whatever. Garganackle comes in. And Excelsior is going to show this set that I made. Obviously, Covert Cloak. This is Block, Worry Seed, Toxic. To force this Garganackle to not be a Stallmon. That's good. I was happy I built that set. I thought it was cool that it worked. However, we took too much damage. With Sand, Rocks, and this Iron Defense Garganackle, it was a little too much damage, and losing the Tangrowth, it wasn't worth that. Especially since Typical makes... I genuinely... You could ask Typical today, and he could not tell you why he stayed in on this overheat. So yeah. But this means free Metacham, because you outspeed, and you hit everything. He Poison Jabs, expecting... I don't know, it's the best coverage move. He doesn't want to lower his defenses with CC. Pretty simple. Excelsior is expecting to die here. He's expecting the CC to get clicked and him to die. He doesn't want to take the speed tie with Gardevoir, and he wants to put up the Sand Rush for Dracozolt. He forgot this got Trailblaze. He also makes another bad play and doesn't hit the Metacham. It wouldn't have mattered, but not hitting the Metacham at all was a misplay, because you need damage on this. It's the biggest threat to your team. I said he puts on Stealth Rocks, thinking he's going to die. Obviously he doesn't. And then after Typical clicks Trailblaze twice, the game is over. He outspeeds Sandra Drake's ult now, and everything else dies. So there's not much more to say about that. Yeah. Metachamp. Yeah, I mean, both people played not great, and then Metachamp just won. So there's not a ton to say about that. Another 5-0 on the season. Yeah. Oh, I did not rewind this. Cable vs. Alexa was the closest game, so we'll just get right into it. Lead Arcanine. I know this is Sash lead Arcanine because rocks are really important into Alexa's Volt Turn team. So that's what he does. He puts rocks up. Cable has two plays here. You sack the dog or you go Sinistcha. Sinistcha is such an unbelievably free switch to Keldeo. And I'm really not sure why Cable just didn't go for it. Because keeping this as a sack could have been really good, and its speed is not bad. I mean, I guess you're slower than everything. Yeah, never mind, you're slower than everything. But keeping this as a sack wasn't a bad idea, because the more you can switch this in and take resisted attacks, the more Alexa might have to switch. The more switch-ins you have to other plays where you're stuck in 50-50s. And again, I think Sinistcha is just such a free switch into this, but he chooses to get chipped with E-Speed. Not bad. It's fine. I think preserving the sack was better, but I can't complain. Scizor comes out. Mew comes out. Alexa's gonna hard switch, assuming that this Mew has something to deal with the Scizor. He's correct. This Mew is Overheat. Cable at this point should honestly just stay in and click. I know he has an ice move. Just stay in and click the ice move, because Alexa's not going to predict it. He's more likely to predict something like knockoff. Even then, you're getting damage, and with the rocks, you're going to win a war of attrition. So it's better just to make the better play is just to make Alexa switch more and take more hits, because he doesn't have much healing. Instead, Cable goes Blastoise and takes a big U-turn. And Alexa immediately goes to Kilowattrel and reveals that he is Heavy Duty Boots. Cable's going to eat the Thunderbolt, which is insane, and get a much-needed flip turn damage. I do think that was his best play. I don't think you can do much else with that Blastoise. You don't want to take the 50-50 between this clicking T-Bolt, and I believe this is his Terra Captain. Oh, it's Terra Water. Okay. Well, if it clicks Air Slash or Hurricane on the Sinistcha, that's also going to hurt. So, but this gives you free Iron Valiant, which basically just collects. Like, something has to switch in and die here. Scizor comes in now, and stays in for the Fire Punch. Fire Punch does about 68, it doesn't kill. I looked up before this if Valiant is a special fire move, it doesn't. I think you just need a little bit more physical investment, unfortunately, or just go full physical, because this thing has so much phys def that just putting a fire move on your team is not enough. I think also, I don't know, it's hard to say, but now you have to switch this out or sack it, which isn't great because you lose your booster, but if we're being honest, I don't think you should care very much, because you still outspeed a majority of the team. Besides, you basically just don't outspeed Dragon Bolt, but Moonblast hits everything. And now that this Scizor is dead to rocks, it's a better play, in my opinion. Oh, dog just walked past me. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, alright, my bad. Anyways, Cable sacks this to Bullet Punch. I don't think that's the best play. I think you can just go something like Zapdos and click Volt Switch, but it is what it is. He goes Blastoise, which is always going to take a hit, and he's going to Scald right back, choosing not to Flip Turn, which I do think is the correct play. Alaxel comes in with the Dragon Bolt, clicks D-Darts for the kill. This means this is physical U-turn D-Darts. Very interesting set, but whatever. He's going to go Sinistcha and threaten Terra, which is exactly what he does. He shows off that he's actually mixed, but with the Terra, Shadow Ball should kill. You don't really need the Terra on Mew anymore, as long as you kill, so yeah, that's a fine Terra. But he just goes right to an Amorous, clicks Earth Power. It doesn't kill, which is really important. And that was a bad strength sap. I'm sorry, Cable, but strength sap on a Contrarymon, like, really? It's special in Amorous anyways, but if he clicks Superpower there, you literally shit your pants and lose. So, I mean, yeah, the fact that he went right out into it, maybe he's Earth Power, but I mean, if he clicks Superpower, you just lose. So I think Strength Sapping was a bad play. I think you just want to try and get a hit off. He reads a second Earth Power and goes right out to Zapdos. Now he has to switch because this is just going to click an electric move always. He makes the right play and clicks T-Bolt instead of Volt Switch. Gets a very needed Paralyze. I wonder if Volt Switch... No, Volt Switch wasn't better. Nothing wants to sit... Actually, no. No, because it can click EQ. Yeah, no, T-Bolt was way better. He's still faster, though, with Scarf. Which Cable was definitely not expecting. If he was clicking Roost there, I think he just wins the game on the spot. Because then Alexa has to stack another one, and these two can't win this game on their own. But now, Alexa can go Keldeo. This is in range, he can click Surf, and it dies. Cable no longer has a resist because he teared out of his resist, which means this dies. And Mew, no matter what it does, it can kill one, but it cannot kill both. So Scarf Dom really won that game because it got the chip on Zapdos that was needed to win the entire game. I think the better play was to Terra Mew early on versus the Dragapult and keep momentum in your favor, because you don't really care what the Dragapult does, and killing the Dragapult was massive because you don't take damage anywhere else. And even if he U-turns, you get chip on something else, then it shows a free switch to Keldeo. I think not clicking Terra was the much better play with Sinistra and doing Terra on Mew instead. Because doing Terra on Mew, yeah, it let you beat the Dragapult, but you could have done that with Terra Mew instead. And once you Terra Sinistra, now you don't have a Keldeo switch in, and now you really don't have, and now an Amorous obliterates you when it just kind of hurt you before. But yeah, super tight game. It really could have gone either way. I think the Terra on Sinistra might have sealed it because it just opened up the Keldeo endgame so much more. But what really sealed the game was Darm getting a hit off on Zapdos. That's when the game ended right there. I don't know what you do about that. I think, no, yeah. I mean, it's impossible to theorize of an endgame there, where that same happens, but Sinistra doesn't Terra, because the Sinistra doesn't Terra, the Dragapult dies, and Mew has a lot less health, so yeah, it's impossible to theorize, but yeah, that Scarf Darm won the game right there, because otherwise Zapdos outspeeds. This dies to T-Bolt. Alaxel goes Enamorous, or Keldeo. Either way, Zapdos takes one of them, because now they're getting O-Code, so Zapdos takes one of these, and then he just goes Mew and kills it the other way, so, but yeah, really close game. Ben versus Nilly, this game was a fucking war crime to watch live. I don't know how this almost lasted an hour, being around 30 turns, but whatever. So, I don't want to relive this because I took too long watching this last night, but we'll go through it. This is Ice Beam Claydol, it's Stealth Rock Ice Beam, it's also defensive, so it doesn't care about knockoff, so Nilly's just going to basically stay in no matter what. Ben's going to knock off because it's super effective, but literally, why would you not ever click Ice Beam? Entei comes in. I know Ben has Protect. The better play was to Protect and get your health back and then switch, but it is what it is. Nilly goes Alomomola, gets a Burn, which is actually really good because this is going to set Toxic Spikes later. This is just going to Scald because you have really no reason not to. Like, Scald burns this, it kills Gliscor probably at this range, maybe, I don't know. I can't tell if that Claydol is just really weak with the Ice Beam or if this is Spadef. Either way, Scald is just really good into everything. It's going to put up a Toxic Spike. This is just going to flip turn and go to Melmetal because it's a free hit. Clicks EQ because it's a Tentacruel. You might as well click the ground move. So when the Aegislash comes in, ouch. It Terra Fairies, likely thinking CC is coming. And then Ben switches. I'm assuming that means no Flash Cannon. So then he goes Gliscor, protects, and then has to switch because Nilly reveals Ice Punch. So he switches to Entei. Nilly clicks Ice Punch again, and then goes right back to Alomomola. Because again, why should she care about getting her plays red when Alomomola is a free switch to the entire team besides Zarude? But how do you get Zarude in when she's threatening Scald Burns? She wishes that time though, and then goes right out to Melmetal, gets it poisoned, which is unfortunate, and it gets its Assault Vest knocked off. But it's going to get wished at the end of this turn. Still going to take the Poison Chip though. This is going to Terra Fire, Terra Blast. It's going to do nothing because it's Terra'd out of its weakness. And then it's going to take a double Iron Bash, which does quite a bit of damage, even with the leftovers and the defense stat on Zarude. Ben's going to switch Gliscor. Yeah. Now that it's Terra Fire, he's reading the Earthquake, so that was a good play. Nilly's going to switch because she's taking too much damage from Poison. And just go free Alomomola. I'm not worried about literally anything. Even knockoff isn't a big deal. He's going to go hard Zarude, but at this point, this Terra Fire is coming back to bite him big time because you're taking Stealth Rocks, switching to Alomomola is harder, etc., etc. This is Sticky Hold, so it's a free switch into Zarude. Plus, you get the Wish and you get the Poison gone, so you really just don't care. I'm going to click Knockoff. Because knocking off Zarude leftovers means it's just going to get destroyed by Stealth Rocks. Nilly doesn't care to take an Earthquake here because she's rocking that Ice Punch. It does 0 though because Gliscor has a good amount of defense. So she goes hard Shaman, thinking it's probably going to Earthquake. It doesn't. It U-turns. Latios comes in, which is a good answer to Shaman. Nilly's just going to sack the Claydol. And then it's going to reveal... Alright, sorry, I gotta talk about this play, because she's gonna get Ice Beamed, and then she's gonna go Noivern. Frisk is gonna reveal Scarf on the Latios. Ben is just gonna stay in, because it's 4 times, and he's Scarf, so he should be faster, until Nilly reveals that she is Scarf right back. At this point, Nilly basically is just gonna win this game. Ben has genuinely no way to break through this Alomomola. Zarude's taking too much from rocks, and with Aegislash being chipped already, all Nilly has to do is keep forcing this Noivern to come in and click Dragon Pulse, and the game is over. Ben's gonna go Zarude and get flip turned. And again, it's just free Noivern. Aegislash, it actually doesn't do, it only does about 13%, but still, you can just go straight to Alomomola. King Shielding there was not a great play. You know it's choice to just click an attack. You know she's probably going to switch. That or make a double. Gyro Ball does literally 4%. He's also slow. He's slower than Mola. So he's min speed. I don't know why that's a thing. But anyways, Nilly's going to start setting Toxic Spikes. This game is just turbo over. Ben just has no way to break through. Going to take a knockoff from the Muck. Going to spin away the hazards, which is good for Zarude. Nilly's going to go right back to Mola. Take the Sacred Fire. This is just free Wish flip turn. He can't, again, there's no way to get through this Mola without Zarude. And every time Zarude, it can't switch in hard to the Alomomola anymore because it's no longer a Grass type. That's why this Terra Fire isn't exactly great. Shaman comes in. Aegislash on the Shaman. And she clicked Earth Power, largely because she was not thinking that Gliscor would come in. Even if it does, she clicks Seed Flare next turn. It doesn't give a shit. Subs on the reading the King Shield because Ben's been spamming it all game. Subs on it, yep, pretty standard. And now Shaman gets all the rest of the kills. There's no way to kill it. Yeah, this game was torture to watch live. Yeah, Ben, just his team, just after the Terra Fire, the game was over. He was weak to rocks. He couldn't get through Mola. Yeah, it just was kind of wraps. He didn't have a great answer for Shaman either. Like, with, I mean, yeah, Aegislash, but he's not doing anything offensive with Aegislash, and Seed Flare can lower his SPDF, to which Nilly can kind of just click Earth Power for free. So, yeah, pretty easy game to sum up. What could have been done differently? Not bring Terra Fire, get hazards away sooner, go on the offensive more often, make a safer play versus Noivern so he doesn't lose his Latios, because his Latios could have helped bring it back because it was good versus Mola, but after he stayed in, because Nilly went hard Noivern, he should have known that there's a chance it could be Scarf to outspeed his Scarf. So switching there, if he makes the switch there, yeah, he has to take a Draco, but it tells him what the item is, because Nilly doesn't stay in there when she sees it's Scarf Ice Beam. She doesn't stay in with Noivern there unless it's Scarf itself, so he can switch and know its item without just staying in and dying. Yeah, not much more to say. Pretty dominant one from Nilly. Litfam versus Sophie. I'm switching sides. Sorry, Sophie. The first 7 of the turns of this game can be analyzed by Ferroseed having status moves and Litfam having Magic Coat, which reflects status moves. He does this for the first 7 turns because he really doesn't want rocks going up. Sophie switches, even though she has a sub up, and is killing it with Gyro Ball, to Flygon. I don't know why, but clicks Moonburst, and it does nothing. And then she Terra Dragon Draco Meteors, and on Litfam's sec, and for some reason has White Herb. I don't know why we're running White Herb. I don't know what this does for you. Terra Dragon Pulse kind of just does the same thing, and if we're being honest, a Jetpack is just a better option because you get a pivot as well. But whatever. This is free Terra Blast for Litfam. He just doesn't really give a shit. Yeah. Sophie goes Ferroseed. Litfam doesn't give a shit. Because at this point, the game is so in his advantage that rock's going up. The game's not going to last long enough for it to matter. Leech Seed doesn't do anything. Yep. In comes Darkrai. By the way, we should know this is choiced. Yeah. We should know this is likely choiced. We don't know its specs, but the way he's playing it, it's probably Scarf. Anyways, Ice Beam does nothing. Probably should just click Dark Pulse if we're being honest, but because he's either Scarf or he's staying in, and either way you lose. So it's better just to click Dark Pulse to hard read the switch. Chili's out into Kyurem on the Empoleon. He's just gonna Fusion Bolt, but you live. And Yawn. In my opinion, yeah, Yawn is the best play here. Yawn is the best play here. Because his Kyurem Black is either going to sleep or it's switching, so we'll have to come back in and take rocks. That's really good. What Sophie does next, I don't like. Instead of roosting to heal herself, she flip turns. This is really bad. This means you get swept by a potential... If this is Scarf Thunderous Therian, you just lose now. Like, genuinely. You don't have an answer anymore. Like, you actually just simply lose. Because if it's Scarf, it can just click Terra Blast 4 times. Maybe 5 if Rotom's a little bit bulky and you lose on the spot. But yeah, Darkrai on this is fine. Dark Pulse, guess what? Culver Berry, yeah, well, yada yada yada. It's gonna Chili out. And now, because of rocks and all the Life Orb damage, this is in range of Terra Blast. And now you get to see that it's Scarf. And now you lose. This takes 1, but guess what? It's Volt Absorb, so yeah. Yeah, Sophie needed to play around Scarf Terra Blast a lot more. I asked her why she brought the Ferroseed, because it really doesn't look like it does a lot into this team, and she said because it's funny. You need a better reason than that, sorry. Yeah, Litfam played this game, yeah, without too much of a problem. Radacious versus Mabel is a pretty interesting one. Red does misplay this a little bit. Lead Grimmsnarl, lead Samurott, kill the Samurott. This is what you should be doing. This is going to make the edging never cease. So you need to kill it before it puts 15 up. Clicking Prankster moves in front of a Dark type isn't smart either, but it happens to the best of us. That switch tells me he probably doesn't have Spirit Break, which is unfortunate. Now Nez is just going to go to Sneasler. U-turn, she's fishing for Poison Touch, which she gets. And then straight out to Tapu Fini. And baits the Will-O-Wisp as well, which is probably the reason she did all of that. Probably knew this has Wisp, it's going to try and Wisp the Sneasler, so she's U-turning and going to put up Misty Terrain. Doubles to Jolteon, expecting Electric move, falls right for it. Not a lot you can do about that. You're kind of just getting got. Makes a actually really good play here, reading that Mabel's been going for reads every turn. She's going to read the Garchomp coming in and click a Fairy move, so he goes to Revivirm instead and eats it. clicks raw high horsepower, it does literally nothing to the Metagross. I don't know why that did so little, but it's good. Straight to Moltres, beautiful shiny by the way. And Nasty Plot. I do think this is the correct play. Yeah, I would agree. This is a good play. Sub. Flip turn. I think this might be Specs low-key that it did that much, because this usually has a lot more Spadef. I would have thought he would have lived, but and probably is Specs if we're being honest, but this dead, this is really just kind of falling apart. Goes Grimmsnarl, Light Screen, another Mon dead to Moonblow. Actually, it lives. So I don't know. I don't know what these rolls are, because I really expect Moltres to be taking those, but it is what it is. Necrozma comes in. Maybe we'll just go Samurott, because at this point you know it's Terra Psychic, so you can always just Ceaseless Edge, kind of for free. He just Calm Minds. He really should just be attacking, predicting the Samurott. You're really far behind at this point. You're 2 Mons down to 6, and you have made pretty much no progress at all. Yeah. Your best win con is Shift Gear Revavroom, so you need to start working towards that, like, right now. But setting up the Necrozma isn't going to do anything. You just need to get rid of the Samurott. But yeah, this is just going to click Ceaseless. Prism Armor means you live. Signal Beam means you kill, which is good. But now Mabel just gets a trade with Sneasler. And Samurott at that point was the least valuable on, and she still got a Spike out of it. Hard Revavroom is a terrible play. I'm so sorry, but that is a horrific play. Necrozma's not doing anything anymore. You just need to let it go. It's slower than everything but Metagross, and you're not doing anything with Metagross anyways. Like, you just need to preserve. You need to set up for a Revavroom sweep. That is your entire win con at this point. I don't know who you set up in front of, but you have to. Actually, you set up in front of Tapu Fini Moonblast on the light screen. So you need to bait in Tapu Fini and get that going. And baiting in Tapu Fini means going Rotom this turn. So she can put up Misty Terrain. I don't know. Anything but the Revavroom. Losing health on Revavroom means you just lose the game. She gets a free switch to Metagross. Psychic Fangs breaks screens, and this is really all but over. Switch is predicting Willow. Gets it correct again. Misses Hydro the first time on his Shift Gear. Or on his Spin Out, I'm sorry. Spin Out White Herb, which is interesting. But then he dies. Swords Dance on this. This can't kill you. All it can do is slow you down with Bleak Wind. Crunch is a bad play. You need to Scale Shot. You need to Scale Shot. You absolutely need to Scale Shot and get fast immediately, because you're not. If this hits you, you kind of just lose. So you need to Scale Shot. Even in the terrain, I don't care. Even in the terrain, you need to Scale Shot and get these hits off. And then you need to hit it next turn with Crunch. But he crunches again, dies to Moonblast, and again this is reps. This can't do anything. He gets the Meteor Beam crit on Metagross, but again, Sneasler's faster. So Radacious needs to. What went wrong? He needs to learn how to play his win cons. He had a win con with Revavroom and he had one with Garchomp, and just kind of didn't use them at all. Shift Gear Revavroom could have won this game. Additionally, I don't know why we're using Spin Out. You could just do Iron Head and do a blasting item, but and get the same result as far as I'm aware. But yeah, and then the Chomp. I don't know if he just didn't have Skill Shot. I don't know why you wouldn't run Skill Shot, but knowing this is not on Burden meant you could still win with a +1, especially because Vinny is chipped. These two both died to EQ. You could have still won with Garchomp if you get the Skill Shot on Torn, because it missed the first Bleak Wind. So if you get the Skill Shot off, get enough hits, click Crunch next turn, you win on the spot. EQ kills Finny, these two both die, obviously Metagross dies, yeah, you just win if you get the Skill Shot there. So I'm not sure why Crunch was clicked. I'm going to assume either he freaked out because Skill Shot in Misty Terrain, or he was, or he didn't have it, which again, I just don't know why you wouldn't run Skill Shot on a Swords Dance Garchomp set. But yeah, Mabel just got so many plays right in a row, it was so hard to come back, like, actually. getting all the Rotom plays right. The screen's gone with Psychic Fangs. There's just so much that happened there that like Red just could not come back from, in his mind at least. Like, again, if this had Scale Shot, he would have been fine. Or if he clicked it, he would have been fine. But it is what it is. Oh, me versus Monum. Okay, I'm gonna be real. This is Terra Water Comfey. I literally brought nothing for this. He could have led this, and I would not have been able to beat it. I've already gone back. I've already played this battle and gone over it in BC, so I'm probably gonna be very brief. Yeah, I lead this because I need to get my Terra Fairy off. Otherwise, I just lose to Urshifu. I'm defensive Wish Pass. I love my Wish Pass. It's great. I just go hard this because I don't want to get Willowed. I Misty Surge because I don't want Annihilate getting burned, and I don't... what was the other thing? Flame Body, don't want to get Willowed. Yeah, there's stuff like that. This is my best answer to Celesteela. I double to this, thinking he's just going to attack, but he doesn't. He just goes Gastrodon, so I go Annihilate because we're in terrain. He goes Moltres. I sub. I don't remember what I did here. Oh, I have Rock Slide, that's right. Back to Weezing to put up my terrain. He Willows, yeah. Go Suicune. Sub. He breaks it. He's actually Earthplate. I calced that Earthquake wouldn't break my sub, but he's Earthplate to break sub, which is really good prep. He doubles to Zam, expecting my switch to Annihilate, which was really good. I always just go this. I don't know why we're Signal Beaming here. He explained that he got mixed up between, he thought it might be super effective in Annihilate. He got mixed up with my Wochian, but again, you just click Psychic. I put up my rocks on the switch. I need him, I'm switching too much. Get my Intimidate off. Yeah. He goes to Gastro. I'm just gonna Wish. He's gonna Earthquake. Goes to Zam. I just stayed in Terra Blasted, I believe. Yeah, I'm special, so I don't really want to stay in here. We see the Comfey. He switches. He could have just Terra Watered and started setting up. It would not have mattered. But it is what it is. He goes to this. He goes Celesteela. He switches again. Monum switched a lot of times in a row. Yeah. He doubled to Alakazam, doubled to Comfey, doubled to Moltres, back to Celesteela. And then back to Gastrodon. And then finally got a hit off. You took 7 turns to give me a stack of Rage Fist. Monum predicted me all of those switches. That's really impressive. However, he got literally nothing off of it. And that, I guess that's the only lesson. Well, there's 2 lessons with this battle. One, it's prep for the obvious threats to your team, which I didn't do, but that's a lesson to me. The lesson to Monum is don't make predictions without having a reason to make them, because he made all these predictions just to give me kind of a free stack of Rage Fist, because Scald's not going to burn in Misty Terrain. So yeah, I just decided to Rage Fist. I could have bulked up there, for being honest, but I didn't. I just get him on now because of Rage Fist, which is pretty nice. Moltres comes in, I go Suicune, it burns me, I just see him, and then click Ice Beam because I know that Gastrodon can come in and Storm Drain me, which I don't want to happen. He just goes Comfey, and at this point the game is over. He clicks Terra Water, clicks Calm Mind. I have nothing for this. Again, he could have won off lead if he really chose to. I'm in Door Costat, but it doesn't matter because he has Triage Draining Kiss. Yeah. My only out was to crit that Psycho Boost. I don't even know if that would have killed. Yep. Not much I can do there. I got a little salty in chat, but to be fair, he was taking like minutes per turn when I just auto-lose, so yeah. Yeah, that's my loss. I want to redeem myself. I mentioned in chat I just won another draft league, so I'm going to go over those 2 because I feel bad about my loss. This was my finals game. There's not a lot to say here because it was a 13-turn game. The plan here, I knew he was going to lead a Araquanid and Sticky Web. We fought twice in this league already because they had a very weird playoff system. I knew coming in, the big threats were Lycanroc. I saw it was Terra Fighting like last time, so I was okay with that. He's Terra Lycanroc and Terra Regidrago. I have to prep for Regidrago. I'm scared of Lycanroc. Goldengo brought T-Wave, and that's why I lost the first time we played. He T-Waved my Meteor Beam Celesteela, so I couldn't outspeed anything. And I kept getting full paired, which is really annoying. But, yeah. And I didn't really have much for Sticky Web because once webs go up, Air Balloon Goldengo just means that Donphan can't do shit. So the play this time was to bring Copycat Sticky Web. Unfortunately, he's cussed at. So that didn't really go to plan. I was worried about that in prep, but I was like, I don't know. I don't think he brings that. Because last time I brought Specs, and if I just clicked T-Bolt, it would have O-code, so I think he's more likely to bring Sash. No, that's not what happened at all. Anyways, I try to get a spin-off with Donphan. This is Z-Move legal, by the way, this league. He didn't bring a Z-Captain. I did. It's Donphan. I know I always live with Make It Rain. I'm Black Hole Eclipse off of Throw Chop to potentially kill. I don't. But me not killing is actually significantly better. Why? Because now he's a -2 Goldengo. And I have a Power Meteor Beam Celesteela. And I'm a Terra Celesteela with Terra Ground, which means I eat the Thunder Wave. And at this point, the game is just about wraps. Without being able to paralyze this, he doesn't have a lot of answers. I Flash Cannon because I have no reason to waste my Meteor Beam. And now I Meteor Beam. And it doesn't kill. Now, you might be saying, well, there's a case to be made. Why didn't you just Meteor Beam the Goldengo? You would have caught this on Switch and killed it. No, that's dumb and stupid because my coverage moves are Flash Cannon and Flamethrower. I believe, yeah. So I can't touch his Terra Fire. So if he just sacks the Goldengo and goes to this and clicks Terra Fire, I auto lose. So yeah, no, I have to save the Meteor Beam for the Regidrago specifically because it's Terra Fire. That's why I don't waste it on the Goldengo. Now, if I did, I could have just hit the Regidrago and Flash Cannon next turn, and I would have not even taken a hit, but that's not how the game played. He gets 4 hits of Scale Shot, not 5. I get the Regidrago, which is really good because that was a big threat to my team. This is the other reason I was Terra Ground. Solrock doesn't kill. As you can see, those average hits of Scale Shot were doing about 17 to 16, so I would have been fine even if he hit all 5. I get a nice Flash Cannon, kill the Lycanroc, and at this point I started celebrating and popping off because I just won my 3rd league ever. How do I know I won? Because I know this is Meteor Beam because he played it last time, and he's saying GG in the chat. Yeah. What's more, that game was boring, at least in terms of finals game. Probably should have been more climactic, but whatever. This game was a lot cooler. This guy's running Black Kyurem. I fought this guy in regular season. I lost because I learned the way that Tinted Lens works, where your attacks get double power after hitting a not super effective or a not very effective mon. How do you think that works versus Terra Shell? Which makes everything not very effective. Guess what? It means it does the same amount as if I didn't have Terra Shell and he didn't have Tinted Lens. So last time I preserved my Terrapagos thinking I could win with it. This time, Terrapagos is actually a 6th man. This mon is terrible in this game. It's just that my other mons were even worse. My other mons were Jolteon, which he's got a whole ass Iron Shred, so that's not even worth considering. And actually, what was my other mon? I forget. I'm gonna look. I already forgot what my other mon was. Roaring Moon, Forgus, Donphan. Oh, did I not bring Don? No, I brought Donphan. Oh, Roaring Moon. Yeah, Roaring Moon was terrible here. Because every time Roaring Moon comes in, it's the freest Gardevoir of all time. And this isn't regular Gardevoir, that's a Mega Gardevoir. So there's just not a lot of reason to bring Roaring Moon. And even with Dragon Dance Ironhead doing a lot, Iron Treads. Like, there's just not a lot of reason. And even if I get through both of those, Burst Impression low kicks. I don't have switch-ins, so I don't want it to coming in. So it's better to bring my guys that all resist low kicks. Tauros 4 times resist low kicks, and Celesteela 4 times resist low kicks. That's good. Last time around, I brought Defensive Tauros Blaze. Max Defense Body Press is a nice set that I like to run with Intimidate to switch into the Ogerpon. This time around, I realized that that's stupid. Tauros is incredible here offensively, so it's actually Choice Band this time around. And I realized Ogerpon's dual stabs don't do anything anyways if I run Intimidate, so who cares? I lead Donphan. There's nothing more here than I want to click Earthquake on Iron Shreds, and I want my rocks. He goes this, again, free Tauros. Your turn does literally 4. He goes Keldeo, I can't stay in here. I'm Terra Fight Tauros, Terra Fire Celesteela. I could stand in Terra Fight, but what if he's Scarf? He is also faster. What if he specs and kills me? I auto-lose, because I don't have switches to Ogrepon anymore. So I have to go this, my Spadefmon. That is specs damage, I'm pretty sure. Because I'm not physically bulky. Or no, I am. Actually, I am physically bulky, I forgot. So it might not be specs. I'm just going to Wish Go Terrapagos. This is the other thing, that the reason Terrapagos is so bad here. This is Mold Breaker. That means it goes through my Terra Shell. I just do this because I know I can take 2 from full anyways, or at least 1. I would like to get a hit off on this, and with Wish, off of a Lomomola, I can take a hit and not really care. That is about 24. He chooses to go low kicks, and again, Terrapagos is my 5th man, okay? I don't want to switch anything into this. My other mons are way too valuable. My Celesteela's power and Meteor Beam. This Terrapagos genuinely does nothing here. Like, actually, it loses everything. I should have recognized that in the regular season, but I was too busy thinking that this mon was broken. So I just click Starstorm, because, like, I don't care. Again, that does 40 because of Tinted Lens. I get a big hit off on the Gardevoir, which was very needed, because this is the biggest threat to my team by far. Besides, this is the biggest threat to my team by far. I ran Defensive Celesteela last time and got goobed, because... even with Defensive Celesteela, I'm just going to get worn down eventually. He makes the Thunderbolt play, expecting me to switch Celesteela like last time. Gets a Thunderbolt para, but I was sacking this, like, genuinely. Because in my head, I was like, listen, at the end of the day, if he stays in, I'm just going to take the hit, I'm going to go Florges, I'm going to start wishing up, or I'm going to go Celesteela and start boosting up. Like, I just don't want anything to take a hit on switch-in. And again, Terrapagos is the least valuable mon. I don't care if it dies. I'd let it die to Hyper Voice any day and just get my free switch, because this thing is hit so much, and that it taking those hits is really important for me. I'm also a speed tie with Tauros, so there's a case where I can win that too. But I kill the Gardevoir instead. That is basically the game. I'm Choice Band CC. Name me a CC switch-in. This is going to Scale Shot. I really don't care, because no matter what it does, I'm going to Intimidate with Tauros, and he's going to want to switch because he's going to want to hold the Black Karen to sweep me later. There's no switch-ins to CC. At this point, he probably knows I'm banded. I don't really care. Iron Shreds is faster, it pops booster speed, showing that it's max speed, it outspeeds without the booster, I don't care. This is free Donphan. He reads the switch and puts up rocks, which is really good for him because he needs to start playing a bit more aggressive now that he's so down. I don't want rocks, so I get rid of them. And then I go straight to Florges. Why do I go to Florges? I don't want this thing being fast. Yeah, it's a free switch in for Tauros, but at this point, I don't really want to sack Pokemon anymore. So going hard Tauros and taking all that damage, that's just not worth it at all. So what are my other options? Alomomola is a terrible option. Skill Shot's going to do a lot, and he can Freeze Dry after and potentially kill me, or Bolt Strike. Either one works. Either coverage will work. The same goes for Donphan. Donphan's dead to Ice Sphere, and I can't take hits in Celesteela because I'm not defensive, I'm offensive. So I have to go Florges. Additionally, Florges is my least valuable Pokemon at this point. I lose to these 3, like literally. There's nothing I can do. But also, this Florges is anti-Kieran Black. So first of all, I'm Fairy type, so he can't get speed versus me. Because again, no D-Dance. It's the same rules in this league that it is in Redcord. Second of all, I'm Citrus Berry. So Ice Spear doesn't kill from that range, even though he assumed it did. And so Moonblast takes the rest of this thing's health. Was getting this thing's health really important? Not really. At this point, my biggest threats to his team are Tauros and Celesteela. But, I mean, what else was I going to do? Like, what? Heal back up? I don't care. I'm not going to wish. And if he starts clicking Home Claws, I need to start exerting offensive pressure. So it doesn't just sweep me. Well, it's never going to sweep me, but I don't want to clicking Home Claws for free. So, while the damage on this doesn't really matter, because at this point Celesteela and Tauros both OHKO it, I might as well, you know? I go this, and I'm getting another kill with CC. He chooses to stack low kicks, even though this was the biggest threat last time around. He's recognizing that at this point, the biggest threats to his team are Tauros, and Tauros, and more Tauros, which 4 times resist first impression, so he has no point in keeping this around. He goes Iron Treads. This is just a Donphan switch always. I'm defensive, he's defensive. We're just going to trade HP. This thing has a lot of defense, so yeah, Earthquake doesn't kill. But again, what else am I going to do? He's going to be faster even after a rapid spin, because, I mean, look at my speed, look at his speed. I might as well just get my damage. And second here means I get a free Celestial Autotomized Meteor Beam, which is exactly what I do. And this should be the game. This Meteor Beam should OHKO this Ogerpon, and then I can kill the last two because they have 0 damage. My Meteor Beam misses. I die to Ivy Cudgel. I misplayed this. I should have Terrafired. I should have Terrafired because I resist it, and I can Air Slash next turn and kill this, and then kill the last two. Totally on me. But I thought, worst case scenario, again, I'm unfamiliar with Gen 9. I'm pretty sure this gets a rock move. If he reads me and somehow gets a crit or some bullshit with a rock move and kills me on the Terrafire, I lose. So if I stay in and Meteor Beam, so maybe it was my better play. Because I still can win losing the Celesteela here. I can't win losing Terra. And I'll explain why later. There's a reason for it. I go Tauros now because I'm mad and I want my kill. I have to CC. I don't think he's in Raging Bull range. Maybe he was, but I CC anyways. He goes Donphan. He's faster. This was my best turn. And this is the reason I could still win with Terra. There's a lot to break down this turn. I have a full health Alomomola that he has no idea what set is in the back, but he's going to assume it's the same mole that everyone always runs, which it is. It's Scald, Flip Turn, Wish, Blank. Probably Alluring Voice, which I believe is what I ran. Maybe Play Rough for Kieran Black. Either way, it doesn't matter. That's the Alomomola I have. JMG knows this. He knows I'm Terra fighting, so I can Terra and live in Earthquake without dropping defense. But if I'm minus defense, I'm dead to Earthquake. Even if I Terra out. And the other part, if I stay in here and Terra fighting and he clicks Earthquake, I lose. Because now he goes Ogerpon, he's faster, I'm in range, I die. And Alomomola is dead to either Woodhammer, or even if he's not, he can just Horn Leech and it won't matter. Whatever grass move he has, he 1v1s Alomomola always, right? So, JMG, his most obvious play is stay and click Earthquake. Because if I stay in, he loses. So, my most obvious play is to go Alomomola. Right? I'm gonna live no matter what versus the Donphan, or the Iron Treads. So, my most obvious play is go Alomomola, click Flip Turn, he has to switch to Ogerpon, get right back into Tauros, collect another kill, switch back and forth until I get my Tauros back in, and click CC again and kill the Ogerpon, right? Always. I know this. I know all of this. I know Ogerpon beats my Alomomola. I know switching Alomomola here, if he calls it, he'll just go Ogerpon and his play is to double to Ogerpon on my switch to Alomomola. So I instead stay in. I click Terra Fighting just in case he stays in, because I might live in Earthquake. And I kill the Alomomola. Or not the Alomomola, the Ogerpon. I call this switch to Ogerpon. At this point, the game's over. Earthquake obviously kills me. I'm super minus defense, but I might as well not switch because, I don't know, maybe double crit kills. Obviously it doesn't look at 25, but I just die and then go to Alomomola and get the kill. That game was much more climactic than my finals game. But that's it for week 2. Week 3 is next. We'll have some very fun games to go over. As you can see, we got Logan versus Ben. That's going to be a real fun one to watch, most likely. It will probably take 2 hours to play, but that's besides the point. Me versus Litfam is coming up. I'm fully expecting to lose that, if we're being real, but either way, it'll be fun. Cable versus Nilly will be a fun one to watch. Yeah, overall, we're going to have some really fun games. I hope you all enjoyed watching. Yeah, and I'll see you guys for week 3.